The future is here, and it's powered by AI. Market-ready startups with a product ready to sell, who are pre-revenue up to maybe $1 million, and small businesses, all B2B stuff, that are trying to get from 1 or 5 million to 10 or 50. Those companies don't have the massive budgets or resources available internally to compete with larger competitors who have big teams. They can afford every type of AI tool on marketing and sales that's available. Small businesses and startups don't have that luxury.
Welcome back to The Revenue Recipe. On behalf of Celerant and Proclaim, I am Ben Wiggins. As a reminder, if you're a startup or small business on HubSpot, click the link in the description or the show notes to get Celerant's buyer intelligence property set up totally free, your first step to AI-enabled growth acceleration. If you're not on HubSpot, get your AI-powered CRM comparison toolkit so it can get you started down the right path today. And I'm here with the man himself, Kenan Rappuchi. Kenan, what's good, man?
How's it going, Ben? Good to see you again, my brother.
It is a great day. It's always a great day hanging out with you. So we're dealing with the 3 pillars: strategy, systems, and skills. Today, we're going to be talking about, on this particular episode, the last 2 of those, systems and skills, in the context, the future of go-to-market, GTM. We'll be using that phrase some today for our viewership and our listenership. The future of GTM is already here. Discuss.
Yeah, so go-to-market has evolved dramatically over the past 3 years.
Yes.
From where it started, say, 20 years ago. When CRMs first became, sort of a common platform for any business. You had Salesforce, they were the leader. Mm-hmm. And that was basically your go-to-market strategy, was using a CRM to manage lead flow, having a marketer or marketing team use a plug-in to that or other tools that would make content and manage events and campaigns and mailing lists and newsletters, et cetera.
Yeah.
That evolved over time. HubSpot came onto the scene and literally invented the inbound space, which is content topic clusters, when really the advent of content became important because people wanted to look before they bought. Okay.
Yep.
So what happened then, and this is probably maybe 10 years ago, where pretty much it became mainstream. The go-to-market motion was really around your marketing team creating MQLs, marketing qualified leads. So they're using every channel they can get their hands on and whatever budget they can wrangle out of the coffers, the folks that manage that, and just doing as much as they could, as frequently as they could, in every channel or space they could to try to get brand awareness.
Yeah.
And then that would feed MQLs into the CRM through some, a form or, fill out this or scan you there at an event, whatever. Okay. So now sales reps, would have some leads and they'd have to go start sending emails and, hey, I'm following up with you on the event you hit or the page you went to or, the piece of content you downloaded. And so that motion just became the status quo. Okay?
Yeah.
And it worked for the most part.
Yeah.
Then it evolved into this, okay, so I'm going to have a team of SDRs, sales development reps, okay? Yeah. And then I'm going to have another team of account executives, AEs, right? Yep. So your SDRs were responsible for push, get a meeting, get a demo. Because the common complaint was marketing's not getting us enough leads. Mm-hmm. And when they do, they suck.
Right.
The leads suck.
Yeah.
Okay, our marketers suck. The leads suck. That guy is not ready to buy.
Sales complaining about marketing, and then also marketing complaining about sales.
It's bilateral. So that became sort of this turf war. So when we talk about go-to-market, what we're talking about, let's bring our solution to our ideal buyers, okay? So you got to market to get inbound and get demand, generation and brand awareness. And once that prospect has entered your buying journey, you have to have a journey that's going to help them out and, help them buy the way they want to buy. Okay, so that was kind of the motions for the longest time. SDRs were pushing to get demos. That's all their job was. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that job never stopped, but I have a bomb to drop here. It has. And there's too much of it. And we'll talk about that later. But if you're an SDR, my suggestion is go find something else to do because you're not adding value, because nobody wants to be pushed into a meeting. They'll come to you when they're ready. Okay. That's going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't care.
But it's true. It's true. It's the 3,000 emails sitting in both of our inboxes.
Oh man,
right
it's insane.
now.
It's nuts. Okay. So here we are. Here we're left with these SDRs that are probably going to be out of a job at some point, and then AEs who are driven by closing deals, and they need their calendar filled with appointments. They got to have demos from buyers ready to buy, so their close rates are up, et cetera. Okay.
Right.
So
Not
this
tire kickers.
Yeah,
Notably.
precisely. Yeah, waste of time. So here we are. Started with CRM, marketing getting MQLs, sales getting sales qualified leads, doing demos, closing deals, building growth, having revenue. Great. Okay, now today, the future is here.
Yes.
And it's powered by AI.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that. This is not a groundbreaking revelation.
What? What?
What? Exactly. So AI has created a new model for go-to-market strategies and tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And the customers we serve, our target market at Celerant, are market-ready startups with a product ready to sell, who are pre-revenue up to maybe $1 million, and small businesses, all B2B stuff, that are trying to get from 1 or 5 million to 10 or 50. Okay,
Yep.
Scaling. They're ready to scale. They've already had product market fit, and they got to scale. So generally speaking, those companies don't have the massive budgets or resources available internally to compete with larger competitors who have big teams. They can afford every type of AI tool on marketing and sales that's available in every level, and see which ones work best, try them out,
Yep.
and then kill the ones that don't and just keep iterating the stack. Small businesses and startups don't have that luxury.
Right.
So how do they gain an advantage? Okay.
Great question.
So when AI hits, I got to get AI going. Well, how am I going to use my AI? That's where it becomes important to have the plan for your go-to-market strategy powered on AI. So generative AI will always have a foundational place in a go-to-market strategy.
Okay.
Okay. The latest and greatest is agentic AI, which the simplest definition of agentic AI is an AI agent, of course, that is designed to replace something that a human would normally do.
Yeah.
And there's several examples of that, and a lot of go-to-market thrust around AI agents right now.
Yeah.
AI agents require tremendously high-quality data sets in order to work well.
Okay.
And that is a challenge that's faced technically with AI developers to create agents that have data that's so incredibly accurate and intuitive, and almost organic in terms of how it operates in an interaction with a human.
Yeah.
And that's a significant challenge to bear, a technical challenge. You're talking everything from data quality to data sources to data context to user case with regard to, is this an agent that is interacting with a customer that made a purchase that has some outlier 2% situation that happened that they need help with right now, or they're going to give you a bad review, all the way up to answering a phone to an insurance agency and being able to, in a human-like way, talk with the consumer about what they need and kind of put them in touch with the best way to fill that need. So agents are evolving. They do have the ability to perpetually and progressively learn from sets of data, but they're a little bit of a deeper technical challenge right now. So if you look at the sort of current state of AI, you've got generative AI. Use cases for that include quick research, compiling information, doing a market assessment, being able to put data together that is as current as it can possibly be based on its language models and its machine language. Okay, and then your agentic AI, which is really to replace a human. So ultimately, that's the vision for agentic AI. However, there are a lot of schools of thought, a lot of conversation around this right now with regard to what jobs are going to be done with, okay, and data security. How can we maintain our proprietary differentiator in business if AI is out there and it's available to anyone to find out about what we do?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the dawn of a new age. It's here now, and it's only going to evolve faster. So when you look at AI, if you don't have a strategy for it for your startup or small business, as it relates to accelerating your revenue growth, you're already behind the curve. And every minute, every day that you delay in having a strategy executed on AI, you're gonna lose even more, and you may not be around in 6 months.
If you want to start solving that problem, click the link in the description or the show notes to get on Celerant's buyer intelligence property. It's totally free, and it always will be. If you're not on HubSpot, get your AI-powered CRM comparison toolkit right now.
Got you covered,
This
man.
is free. This all of this is free, and it always will be.
We got you covered. It is open source information. We exist to help startups and small businesses gain a competitive edge in a market where it's traditionally extremely difficult for them to do that. It requires massive budgets, big teams with deep pockets of salary payments and everything else. We're here to give you guys a competitive advantage. So
Fantastic. All right, now let's talk about how LLMs, generative AI, agentic AI relates specifically to marketing and sales.
okay, this is the sweet spot. Okay, generative AI, from a marketing standpoint, is the number one element of your go-to-market strategy for you to capture information about your target audience. And it iterates. So it's not a static point in time. It always evolves because the only constant is change, right? So understanding how to deploy agentic AI, and that's already implemented. HubSpot has done a phenomenal job. They're launching Breeze AI. Well, they've launched a beta version of Breeze AI, which is sort of what had been known as, buyer intent or, signaling, right? Lead scoring. And they put that in a nice summary that says, this is what you've been doing with this particular contact or this company. And this is what these contextual engagements have been about. And here's what we suggest. Here's what we recommend. The only issue is if there's no data there, there's nothing to recommend. So the data has to be there. And that goes back to having a go-to-market strategy where your marketers and sellers are creating that data from interactions with their target audience. Quality of data, I spoke about that a little bit ago, specific to agentic AI.
What is, quick aside on that, when the data is bad, you mentioned it has to be high quality. When the data is bad, what are the most frequent ways that data goes wrong? Like what are the ways that it gets dirty?
It's all around prompts. So if you're not giving AI the right prompt based on what you need and what you're looking for, you have no prayer to get data out of it that's useful.
Okay.
So ultimately, data comes from interactions with a server,
Yes.
a web server.
Yeah.
And that's one spot. That's where it comes.
Yeah.
It also comes from interactions with people.
True.
So both the agent, the bot, the form, the interaction, the digital experience, and the organic experience both have a key part to play in the quality of the data. Okay.
Yes.
So most, let's say, innovative growth leaders are going to want to lean toward AI first and organic intelligence second. Nothing wrong with that, as long as every bit of your digital real estate is hyper aligned with your core brand message. And everybody would ever write one piece of content or create one video or a podcast or any method of digital engagement has to be spot on consistent with who you are, who you serve, what problem they have, why they have it, how it leaves them feeling, how you solve it, what your process is, why you're special and different, and why you do what you do, and what exists after working with you that didn't exist before. If all of those digital, I'm talking every piece of it, and right now content's king. There's more content than there's ever been. It's a deluge of crap. Okay, and people see it and they know it, but it's like it's a race to the bottom. We more, but it's about quality. So AI needs a lot of data, but the data has to be solid and sound and relevant to your business case right now, and that evolves. So if your digital experiences are in any way off or inconsistent, that sends the data quality down a path that is a spiral to nothing place, right?
Yeah.
So that's important. Now, that's controllable because humans control what content gets created and goes out based on the prompts on the AI and based on a human reviewing. You go, yep, that hits the core elements of a connection that we want from a marketing standpoint, speaks to our core audience, and We'll buy off on it. Let's release it and let it go.
It feels right.
It feels right.
All right.
Exactly. Okay, so that's that part. Second part is the human interaction. So at some point, unless it's a transactional buy, right? When a buyer's ready to buy
Yeah.
in a B2B selling scenario, they're going to talk to someone to effect that sale.
Yes.
Now, in a modern go-to-market motion, that seller needs to have all the tools available to them at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need a library of sales enablement tools, contracts, quotes, pricing structures, demos, experiential alignment, purchase orders, et cetera. All the pieces have to be in place.
Okay.
So AI helps the seller with background and information, but the buyer is providing the seller with information about what they need right now.
Okay.
AI doesn't know what the buyer needs right now. So you have to have literally a blend of AI and organic intelligence in a marketing and sales standpoint to capture the data models and the data feeds that allow you to essentially execute on-point interactions and motions to improve time to revenue.
So expert humans can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief here because there is still a need for them.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure that we're ready to take expertise in marketing and sales and completely hand it over to AI. Right?
Yeah.
We're not ready for that. People buy from people. People don't buy from bots.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, unless it's a transactional sale, that's a piece of cake. Everybody knows the difference between the two.
Yes.
Not only is there room for experts in marketing and sales, the evolution of that expertise is significant. Let me tell you what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Traditional marketers, and I use that word traditional very, very specifically because I know a lot of them,
Yeah.
and they're going to be struggling shortly if they're not already. Okay. Traditional marketers, journalists, content marketers, content developers, SEO folks, these kinds of roles that are more tactical than strategic are going to be, they're gone. AI is going to take those over because we don't need people who are experts in SEO anymore. I know that takes a whole industry and kind of blows it up, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Figure out something else to do. Content marketers, blog writers, journalists, those who put the art of the word and the emotion over the motion and the intent are going to struggle as well if they don't adopt AI to create a digital experience that's going to help that content be consumed because of what we talked about a few minutes ago. There's too much of it. Okay.
Yes.
So how is that content going to be navigating through this sea of crap to meet your target audience where they are today? Okay?
Sure.
So the expertise is going to be around one thing and one thing only. The ability of a marketer and a seller to figuratively get into the DNA of their target
buyer.
audience. Yep.
Yeah.
So you almost have to know, no, you do have to know what they're thinking about, worried about, spending most of their time on right now. Because if you don't, and AI is not going to give you that.
Yeah.
Because AI doesn't have that yet. Okay. So the ability to understand that and create predictive models of how to interact to affect that sale or build that marketing campaign that's going to engage requires human expertise. That doesn't go away.
Okay. So then AI and expert humans, what's the secret to making the tandem work correctly, specifically for startups and small businesses that, as you said earlier, lack the massive tech and salary budgets to compete with those bigger competitors?
Yeah. So the founder. So let's take like two stages here. So got some funding, got a product, ready to sell it. Maybe I have some, early revenue, a pilot revenue, whatever. I've got to go. The one thing a founder doesn't do is go hire a VP of sales.
Right.
The one thing a founder doesn't do is let the technology lead the way for their go-to-market strategy.
Yes.
They have to have that organic expertise of knowing that particular target market and everything about it, usually they're early adopters, and understanding how to choose and deploy the right AI stack. It starts with a CRM. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to have that. You can't build your business off Google Sheets or Excel or Monday.com. Okay. It just doesn't work. Right. So you need to choose the right AI tool. The good news is a lot of them are open source and free, and they'll remain that way for a while. But you do need to hire an expert to help you implement that. Okay. And you do need to learn how to sell with AI enabled generative for researching information quickly to compile and validate and engage, and agentic to when necessary to engage a new prospect, for example, on a chatbot on your website, okay, chat agent, or some other interactive function that's done on digital. Have that integrated in your CRM. Always validate that data, and when you are talking with an interested buyer, have a system set up where you can categorize key points of that conversation. And there are integrations now that take unstructured data, like meeting recordings off Fireflies, right into your HubSpot CRM. And there are agents that take all that. They've been around for a while. That take all of that data and say, this is the summary. This is what you need to do. Take that to heart. Tweak it where you need to. Update data based on what was happening real time in that buyer scenario, and iterate on that as you go. It's evolutionary, not static.
So use your Fireflies data. What other, if you could offer 2 other action points for those startup, scale up founders, CEOs, exec teams, what are the other easiest things that they can do right now?
So the easiest thing you can do is have an incredibly deep understanding of your target audience.
Okay.
People say that's not easy. Well, yeah, it is. Okay. You have to have situational awareness. And ultimately, that boils down to taking organic intelligence and translating that to a framework. Framework is data. Okay. So the ability to understand a situation, read a room, and translate that into action is not only a learnable skill, it is a skill that you can continue to refine and develop, like, pistol shooting, target shooting. You can never have shot a gun before. You learn how to hold it. Then you learn with your left or right eye dominant. You go through the steps. Same thing with really understanding a situation, a buyer-seller scenario that evolves, and a founder needs to have that. Whether you're just going to market or you've hit your first million and need to go to 10 or 50, you use those same principles with the right tech stack, the right go-to-market motion focused on your target audience, with organic intelligence and AI to drive growth.
What are people getting wrong about how to do that piece of it? Like focused on your target audience, having the conversations, reading the room, and so forth. Like, what is the stuff that when you hear it, it makes your skin crawl? You're like, MFers, stop doing this.
It's the same freaking thing every time, Ben. They're leading a conversation with a damn pitch. Nobody gives a shit about you.
Right.
Nobody cares about you. What they care about is that you know what they're dealing with, and you can be a credible ally on that first touch you have with them, because the content or the context of your communication or your interaction, digitally or organically, is spot on.
Yeah.
So you lead with what they're dealing with. You don't lead with your pitch. There's too much pitching going on. So the go-to-market motion is something that's perpetual, where you have content that's about them and their problem, and you're creating multiple channels and multiple tools inside your go-to-market stack that are all focused on external factors, not internal factors. Marketers want to go pitch about how great they are. Hell, let's be candid. I think we have a couple of call to actions in our podcast right now, because we're here to do business, but we're here to help others understand how to launch and scale a business.
Yes.
And there are tactics to do that. And if any of these engage with you, we'll help you for free. Okay, we don't need to have you sign a quote to do business with us to learn the best practices of growing yours.
Right.
Okay.
Bringing it back around, AI plus OI, artificial intelligence, organic intelligence. What are the biggest takeaways that our viewers and listeners need to come away with regarding the integration of those two things?
Okay. So let's understand first that go-to-market and growth and scale AI is the catalyst. Okay. Because AI is going to allow us to do things today that would take us in minutes, that would take us days or weeks to do even 5 years ago.
Yep.
Okay. So understand how to deploy AI and the differences of it with regard to generative versus agentic, and how to use that in your go-to-market stack. Understand that.
Yep.
Research it, ask other experts, figure out where it sits in your go-to-market plan. Choose your tools wisely and make sure that your data sources from the organic interactions, your human-to-human interactions, are structured on top of a data set that makes it easy to translate from a Firefly's meeting integration on your HubSpot timeline all the way through to some key properties that can develop and can easily be updated through a verbal command or a typing command that takes literally a fraction of a second, but adds exponential value when it comes to delivering an offer that's easy to understand, try, and buy. So knowing those pieces and putting it in place early allows you to have a foundation where AI drives your engagement and organic intelligence drives your interaction and ultimately your sale.
Yes. If you do not have that AI-enabled growth acceleration in place yet, go to the link right below me. I'm pointing down for those of us who are on audio only, but go to the link in the description to get HubSpot's buyer intelligence property set up totally free. No catch. It's free and it always will be your first step to AI-enabled growth acceleration. If you're not on HubSpot, get your AI-powered CRM comparison toolkit right now. Again, free, totally free. This is our gift to you. Kenan, thanks as always for the time, my friend. I appreciate your insights.
Thank you, Ben. Always love the conversation.
On behalf of Celerant and Proclaim, this is The Revenue Recipe. I'm Ben Wiggins. He's Kenan Rappuchi, and we will see you on the next one.